She ate cursed food and became possessed. The chilling true story. From 1991, my Buaji was possessed after eating cursed khichdi. A true horror story from 1991. I want to share something that still sends chills down my spine. This happened way before I was born, back in 1991, but it's a story that everyone in my family remembers like it was yesterday. My Buaji father's sister was newly married and living in a small village in North India with my Fufaji. They had rented a portion of a house owned by a greedy old couple, landlords who weren't exactly known for their kindness. My Buaji was expecting her first child, so everyone in the family was excited, praying for her health and well-being. One day, while my Fufaji was at work, the landlords came over with a bowl of khichdi, saying it was made with pure ghee as a kind gesture for the expecting mother. My Buaji didn't want to be rude, so she accepted it. She was about to eat it, but something felt off. So, she just dipped her finger to taste a little bit and left the rest untouched. That very night, everything changed. My Buaji started speaking into voices, one of her own, and one of a deep, raspy man's voice. She would suddenly start laughing hysterically, her eyes unfocused, and then break down crying. Her behavior would flip like a switch. The worst part, whenever she stepped out of the house, she was completely normal. But the moment she crossed the threshold back in, she would start screaming like something was clawing at her from the inside. At first, everyone thought it was just stress from the pregnancy, but things only got worse. She would wake up in the middle of the night, her hands clenched like claws, nails digging into her own skin until they bled. She spoke of dark shadows that whispered to her, of hands that tried to drag her into places she couldn't describe. My Fufaji was losing his mind, trying every doctor in the area, but all of them said the same thing: there's nothing wrong with her physically. They couldn't explain her switching voices or how her strength would double whenever she was in one of those states. One night, she said something that made my Fufaji's blood run cold. In that deep, growling voice, she spoke words that weren't hers. She described the landlord's plan. That woman wanted her daughter married to my Fufaji. If my Buaji was out of the picture, either mentally broken or dead, that twisted wish would become reality. Desperate, my family turned to a Hindu priestess known for dealing with these kinds of situations. The priestess didn't waste any time. She came over, her forehead smeared with vermilion and her eyes blazing with fury. She performed rituals for 14 days straight, chanting mantras and sprinkling holy water all over the house. The landlord couple tried to act innocent, but their nervousness was obvious. The priestess told my family something horrifying. The khichdi was laced with something evil, something meant to either drive my Buaji insane or kill her. The landlords knew exactly what they were doing. By the end of those 14 days, the rituals worked. The voices stopped. My Buaji no longer thrashed around or spoke in tongues. The shadows were gone, but the evil had already done its damage. My Buaji gave birth to a child who was born quadriplegic. No doctor could explain why. My family moved out of that cursed house as soon as they could. And the landlords, they mysteriously left the village a few months later. No one ever saw them again. Till this day, we don't talk much about it, but every once in a while, when we're together, someone brings it up, and the terror of those days hangs over us like a dark cloud. Some scars never really heal. Now, the next story. My friend and I girl decided to rent a movie and hang out at her house for the night. We had smoked a blunt before going into the video store. MBD did it all the time. It always took us quite some time to pick a movie. So, we walked around for a while, checking the movies out and talking. Now, I would consider myself pretty observant, possibly a little more paranoid when I was high in public, but just aware of my surroundings in general. I noticed a taller, slim, older man with a hat, wearing a jacket and pants, walking around with his hands in his pockets. I noticed he wasn't walking super close to us, but following us around the store at a distance. I thought it was weird he wasn't picking up any movies and looking at them, and didn't seem to be interested in the movies at all. He walked far away from the wall. Not typical behavior for someone picking out a movie. I turned to my friend and asked her if she noticed him following us, and she said no. She said I was probably being paranoid. I suggested we go to the bathroom and put in eye drops, maybe we looked too high. We didn't go to the bathroom right away. discussing what we should do. A few minutes later we head to the bathroom. My friend is walking in front of me, so she opens the door. There was only one bathroom. No stalls. The door was unlocked, so she pushed the door open. I was behind her so I couldn't see him. She immediately turned around with her face bright red. I was like, WTF. What happened? She was like, we have to leave. I was like, why? She said there was a guy in there with his pants down, holding his dick in his hand. When she opened the door and saw him, he smiled at her. We started freaking out. We quickly picked a movie and headed to the front to check out. As we headed to the front, we saw the man walk up behind us and wait in line. However, he had nothing in his hands. No snack, no drink, no movie. I could feel my whole body tense and the hairs on the back of neck stand up. My back arched in fear. My body knew this man was up to no good. I was so scared to move. As we were finishing paying for the movie, the man walked in front of us and stood next to the door as if he was waiting for us. We had no choice but to walk out the door in front of him. I had never been so scared in my life. Something bad was about to happen to us. We walked as fast as we could to my friend's car, got in and locked the doors and just sat. Now, the next story. I almost killed myself last night, but got saved by a stranger asking me for sex. I can't tell anyone this in real life, so here it goes. I recently got cheated on and have been taking it pretty hard. Last night someone stole my phone and I just snapped. I can't afford a new one. I do gig work and heavily rely on my phone. I started walking along the street sobbing, planning to jump off a bridge. It was quite a long walk, but I honestly didn't have second thoughts. Someone pulled over. I thought maybe he'd ask if I was okay, as I am a woman bawling her eyes out late at night. I stopped. I guess part of me deep down did just want to talk to someone. He instead asked if I wanted to have sex with him. I obviously said no, and kept walking. The callousness of this stranger kinda solidified my decision. Shortly after, another oblivious stranger pulled over and asked if I wanted some fun. By this point, I was really cold and I didn't care if he killed me anyway. I said, get me alcohol. Obviously, I wasn't going to have fun with him. I just wanted alcohol to ease my mind and also make the reality of what I was about to do more palatable. Also, hopefully he could drive me to the bridge because it was really fucking cold. Turns out, there were no stores that sold alcohol open. I ended up being honest with him about my intentions. He was telling me I'm so young, have so much to live for, yada yada. He almost did end up dropping me off at the bridge, but he decided against it, I guess. So, we drove around aimlessly for hours. I kept asking him to drop me off at the bridge and he kept declining. I guess throughout my unhinged ramblings and repeated requests to kill myself, he fell in love with me. He told me he would marry me and we would figure everything out together. Eventually, I started to feel extremely tired. The car was nice and warm. I started to think how nice and warm my bed would feel right now. I asked him to drop me off near my house, went home and went to bed. So yeah, I guess a creepy stranger saved my life last night somehow. Now, the next story. The time my brother and I saw a creepy man on our lawn. This is something that happened to me when I was around 7 years old, and it's been on my mind a lot lately. I wanted to share it because it's one of those memories that never fully leaves you, even if it's a little blurry now. So, my younger brother, who was 6 at the time, and I were hanging out in my bedroom. We were on my bed eating candy and watching YouTube on our iPad, pretty much what we did every chance we got back then. Our house was 2 stories, and my room had a window facing the front yard. At some point, I think I was the one who glanced outside, and that's when I saw him. There was an old man standing on our lawn, smoking a cigarette. I don't remember what he was wearing, but I can still picture him standing near the porch. The thing is, I could only see him from the side. I never fully saw his face. Now, here's the part that really shook me. I knew for a fact that our front door wasn't locked. My siblings and I were supposed to lock the door when we got home from school, but we almost never did because we live in a safe neighborhood, and nothing bad ever happened. So it didn't seem like a big deal until it suddenly was. My brother and I freaked out and immediately ran down the hall to our older brother's room. He was probably around 14 or 15 at the time, completely absorbed in his Xbox. We burst in, scared and desperate for him to help, and told him what we saw. And you know what he did? Absolutely nothing. I remember he seemed confused at first, but then he shrugged it off and told us it was probably one of our dad's friends, which, thinking back, made zero sense. I don't even remember if I brought it up to my dad, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't one of his friends. If it was, he would have reassured me back then, and I feel like I wouldn't still be this unsettled about it. My older brother didn't lock the door, didn't check to see if the guy was still there, and definitely didn't grab anything for protection. He just wanted to get back to his game. He reassured us in the laziest way possible, then kicked us out of his room. And because we were little kids who trusted him, we tried to convince ourselves that everything was fine. We didn't look out the window again. Honestly, we were too scared. We ended up hiding under the covers in my room and pretending like it never happened. We just went back to watching YouTube. Nothing bad happened that day. No break-ins, no scary aftermath. But to this day, I wonder who that man was and why he was there. Part of me wishes I could go back and demand a real answer from my older brother. But at this point, I doubt he even remembers it. So yeah, that's the story. Moral of it all, maybe just lock your doors. Safe neighborhood or not, you never know who might show up on your lawn. And to the man, whoever you were, let's not meet. Now, the next story. When I was in primary school, I must have been 5 or 6. We went with our school to watch a live puppet play, starring Charlie and Lola. If you don't know what Charlie and Lola is, it's a children's TV show about a brother and sister named Charlie and Lola. It stopped airing in 2008. And to people born in the early noughties, it is quite nostalgic. Anyway, we went to this puppet show. I sat down with my friends and started watching. I vividly remember the puppets looked very uncanny, like they were barely puppets, just pictures of the characters, attached to a stick that the puppeteers would move around. Also, the puppeteers were dressed in all black suits. You could see them, but they were kinda hidden in the background. The show went on. My young self was very creeped out by the unusual 2D faces that were getting waved about the stage. Then it got to a segment of the show where Lola went to bed. The lights on the stage went dark, and it went very quiet. Suddenly, a voice started to talk to Lola. I can't remember what the voice was saying. It was something along the lines of fee fee fo fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman, and the stage lit up with red ominous lights. Lola would run and turn the lights on, but there was nobody there. She would go back to bed, just for the voice to come back and the stage turn red again. And that, folks, is all I can remember from the show. It quite literally traumatized me. I had to sleep with the light on for years after this incident, in case the ogre would appear in my room. That's the name I gave it. The ogre. He followed me around. I never saw him, but I could feel him haunting me. Going off track a little bit. There was a time, perhaps a year after the Charlie and Lola show, when I physically heard the ogre. It was very late at night, and me and my family were staying at a hotel. I randomly woke up. Both of my adopted parents were asleep. I could tell something was very wrong, and I hid under my bed sheets. And I shit you not, I heard the clearest fee fee fo fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. I started screaming my little head off, waking up my parents. They put the telly on until I calmed down and went back to sleep. Please, if you have any information on the Charlie and Lola puppet show, I'd love to hear your stories about it or get more informed about what the fuck that whole calamity was. And remember, kids, sleep with the light on unless you want the ogre eating you. Only messing, haha. Now, the next story. My son keeps me locked away in a room. The clock says 6:58. 2 minutes until bedtime. Daniel doesn't like when I'm late for bedtime. My thoughts are all jumbled up today. The medicine makes my head feel like it's stuffed with cotton, like someone shoved wet newspaper into my skull and let it harden there. I can hear Daniel in the kitchen. The clinking of dishes sounds like tiny bones breaking. He made spaghetti tonight. Spaghetti with meatballs. I like the meatballs. I think I've always liked meatballs, even before the accident. Sometimes it's hard to remember what I liked before. Sometimes I wake up tasting blood and can't remember why. I should get ready. Daniel doesn't like when I'm not in bed when the clock turns to 7 o'clock. He says it makes Mr. Jax upset, and nobody wants Mr. Jax upset. I've never met Mr. Jax. Daniel says he comes to our house late at night and checks on things, makes sure everything is safe. Daniel says Mr. Jax knows what's best for us. Daniel says Mr. Jax has plans for me. When Daniel talks about Mr. Jax, his eyes change. They get darker, emptier, like something crawls behind them. The doctors told me I have, what did they call it? Traumatic something. Brain injury. From the accident. Sometimes I can think just fine, like now. Other times I can't remember my own name. The words get stuck. The thoughts won't connect right. I get confused about what year it is, what day, where I am. Sometimes I see shadows, moving in the corners of my room, shifting, watching, waiting. I used to be different. Before the pills, before the accident, I was a teacher, math teacher, high school. I taught algebra and geometry. I remember the smell of chalk and the sound of the bell. I remember Lisa, my wife, and Tommy, my first son, my boy. I remember their smiles, their laughter. I can still hear their screams sometimes. In my dreams, in the walls. When I'm alone, they're gone now. The accident, 2 years, 3. Time is slippery for me now. Daniel, Lisa's son from her first marriage, moved in after. Said he'd take care of me. Said he'd help. I adopted him when he was 12. After I married Lisa, he never called me dad though. Always Greg. His voice always cold, clinical, like he was examining a specimen. The lock clicks from outside my bedroom door. 7 p.m. sharp. The sound makes my skin crawl. I hear Daniel's voice through the door, muffled and wrong, like it's coming through water or meat. Good night, Greg. Did you take your evening pills? His voice sounds far away even though he's just behind the door. Yes, I lie. The little blue and white pills are under my tongue. They taste like chemicals and dread. I'll spit them out later. I don't like how they make me feel. Like I'm underwater. Can't think. Can't remember. On my ceiling, there are terrible things. They crawl upside down. They come in from a crack above the door. Do they know Mr. Jax? Good. Mr. Jax will be here soon. He says you need to stay in your room tonight. All night. I do remember. Sorta. Things get mixed up sometimes. I got thirsty and tried the door. It was locked. I kept pulling on it. Daniel came. He was crying, and his eyes were dry. Said Mr. Jax was angry. Daniel had a bruise the next day. A perfect handprint wrapped around his throat. Said it was my fault. But I was locked in here all night. How could it be my fault? Okay, Daniel. I'll stay. The words feel thick in my mouth. Hard to talk sometimes. Like my tongue belongs to someone else. Sleep well. Greg, Mr. Jax is looking forward to seeing you. His footsteps go away. They sound heavier than they should. Like someone much larger is walking away. I sit on my bed. Look around. This room is my whole world now. TV. Books with big letters. Water bottle. Bucket for bathroom. I hate that bucket. Hate it. But Daniel says Mr. Jax doesn't let me use the real bathroom at night. There are scratches on the wall I don't remember making, and stains on the ceiling that look like faces when the light hits them just right. I look at my puzzle book, the one with pictures of animals and words hidden in a grid. Daniel says these are good for my brain, says they'll help me get better. But I think I'm getting worse. Yesterday, all the animals in the book were staring at me, their eyes following me across the room. The words start to swim on the page. I feel dizzy. The medicine, it's kicking in. The stuff I took this morning makes it hard to focus. Makes the shadows in the corners grow longer, darker. But wait. I hear voices from the living room. Daniel's talking to someone. Another voice deeper, older, raspy like sandpaper on bone. I try to listen. My legs feel wobbly, but I manage to get to the door. Press my ear against it. The wood feels cool. And naturally cool, like it's sucking the warmth from my skin. He's secured for the night. The deep voice must be Mr. Jax. It sounds wrong. Too deep. Too hollow. Like it's coming from somewhere very dark and very old. Yes, Daniel's voice. Just like you said. Good. Has he been behaving? Not really. Tuesday was bad. He kept calling me Tommy. Then he started crying, asking where Lisa was. Saying he wanted to see her. He scratched himself until he bled. Said something was under his skin. That's concerning. We might need to adjust his dosage again. The stronger stuff. The one that makes him see us as we truly are. I move away from the door. My heart is going fast. Fast. Like it's trying to escape my chest. Adjust my dosage. No more pills. Last time they changed my medicine, I couldn't wake up. Slept and slept. Couldn't tell if I was dreaming or awake. Saw things standing over my bed, watching me, touching me with hands that felt like wet leather. I go back to bed, pull the blanket up. It feels safe under here. Through my window, I can see the moon. Full moon, big and bright, too bright, and natural. The moon helps me sometimes, helps my thoughts line up right, like puzzle pieces clicking together. But tonight it looks wrong, like it's watching me, judging me. I remember things when the moon is full. Remember Lisa's smile. Remember Tommy's baseball games. Remember adopting Daniel when he was 12. Remember how he watched me, always watching, never smiling, never calling me dad. I remember the way he'd stand in doorways just watching us eat. The way animals would go quiet when he walked by. I remember the accident, the car going too fast. Couldn't stop it. Brakes didn't work. The tree coming closer and closer. Lisa screaming. Tommy in the back seat. The sound of metal folding, of glass breaking, of something laughing. I remember the hospital. The police officer, young guy with kind eyes. He said the brake lines were cut. Someone cut them, but they didn't know who. I remember how uncomfortable he looked when Daniel visited. How he wouldn't meet Daniel's eyes. I remember Daniel coming to live with me after the funeral. I was still in a wheelchair then, head all bandaged up. He said he'd take care of me, said Mr. Jacks would help us both. I remember how cold his hands were when he touched me, like he'd been keeping them in ice water. Mr. Jacks, the grief counselor. That's what Daniel said, but I've never seen him, never signed papers, never had therapy. And why? Why does he only come at night? Why do the lights flicker when his name is mentioned? Why do I sometimes hear him moving in the attic during the day? When Daniel says he only comes at night, there's laughing from the living room, TV sounds, explosions, gunfire. But underneath it, something else. A wet, slithering sound, like something huge dragging itself across the floor. I think I fell asleep. My eyes open. Room is dark. Just moonlight. Clock says to 17. What woke me up? A sound from outside my door. A scratching sound, like claws on wood. Footsteps. Heavy, and even footsteps. I try not to breathe too loud. The doorknob moves, turns, but the lock stops it. Something pushes against the door. Something heavy. The wood creaks, bending inward slightly. He's sleeping. Mr. Jacks's voice, just outside my door. It doesn't sound human up close. Too deep, too hollow, like it's coming from the bottom of a well filled with mud and teeth. Should be the risperidone and lorazepam knock him out pretty good. Daniel sounds tired, afraid. Good. I brought the papers. Once we get him declared legally incompetent, we can access the insurance money. The house too. Insurance ... money. My brain feels foggy, but something about this feels important. Wrong. How much longer will this take? Daniel asks. His voice trembles. Not long now. His condition is getting worse, just as we planned. Those pills I gave you are working perfectly. The brain damage from the accident gives us a good cover. But these medications will make him a complete vegetable soon. And then he's mine. All mine. My stomach hurts. Pills. They're making me worse on purpose. And what does he mean? I'll be his. I don't know. Sometimes he seems okay. Like today. He remembered it was Friday spaghetti night without me reminding him. There's a sound. Wet. Meaty. Like someone got hit with something heavy. Then ... something strange happens. I hear ... shuffling. And Daniel's voice changes. Gets deeper. Becomes Mr. Jacks's voice. Don't get soft now. The deeper voice says. It echoes strangely. Like it's coming from everywhere and nowhere. Then normal Daniel voice. Whimpering. No, sir. My brain is slow. But this is important. That second voice. It came from Daniel. Not from someone else. There is no Mr. Jacks. It's Daniel. Just Daniel. Talking to himself. Making a different voice. But then, who made that scratching sound? Who pushed against the door? Why does the house creak at night like something huge is moving through it? The medicine fog tries to pull me under, but I fight it. Fight to understand. More shuffling sounds. Then Daniel, normal voice. Strained and fearful. I'll increase his dosage tomorrow. Then deeper voice. But different now, wetter, with a gurgling quality that makes My skin crawl. Good. I want him completely helpless by next week. Just a drooling idiot who can't even feed himself. Ready for the transition. The words hurt, make me want to cry, but I hold it in. What transition? What's going to happen to me? Footsteps go way down the hall, but they don't sound right. Too many of them, like 3 or 4 people walking in perfect sync. My hands shake. Can't make them stop. The pills. Blue ones. White ones. Yellow ones. Daniel gives them to me. Morning, noon, night. They make my brain slow. Make me forget things. Make me stupid. Make me see the things that hide in the dark. The things with too many eyes and not enough skin. No, I see them when I don't take the pills. They're real. I know it. I think they are hiding from me. Mr. Jax. Who is he? We all know him. I think so. He's here at this house. I look at my water bottle. Did he put more medicine in there? Probably. The water looks wrong. Too thick. Too dark. Daniel isn't helping me. He's hurting me. Making me sick. And there's no Mr. Jax. Just Daniel talking to himself. Like he has 2 people inside him. Or something inside him. Wearing him like a costume. I try to get out of bed. My legs are wobbly. Like walking on jello. I make it to the window. Look out. Too high up. 2nd floor. Can't jump. And something moves in the yard below. Something big that shouldn't be there. Something that looks up at me with eyes that reflect the moonlight like mirrors. Door is locked from outside. I'm stuck here until 7 a.m. when Daniel brings breakfast. And more pills. More things to make me forget. To make me compliant. To prepare me. The moonlight helps me think. Helps me remember. I remember. The insurance. Big policy on Lisa and Tommy. Got money when they died. And ... There's more money if I die. The mortgage insurance. My retirement money from teaching. My pension. Daniel can get it all if I'm declared ... and ... incompetent. If I can't take care of myself. A thought comes. Clear as a bell. Did Daniel cut the brake lines? Did he kill Lisa and Tommy on purpose? Was it part of his plan? First them. Now me. I look around my room. Not a bedroom. A cell. A cage. A place of preparation. I have until morning to figure something out. My brain still works sometimes. When the medicine wears off. When the moon is bright. Because now I know part of the truth about Mr. Jax. He's not real. He's a voice in Daniel's head. Or maybe Mr. Jax is real. I know there's something else here too. Something that comes in the night. Something Daniel is afraid of. Something he's working for. Something that wants me. My tongue feels the pills I hid there. I spit them into my hand. Hold them tight. I notice something on the wall I didn't see before. Scratched into the paint with fingernails. Words in Lisa's handwriting. He's not Daniel anymore. When 7 a.m. comes, I'll be ready. I might be damaged. Might be slow. But I'm not stupid. But I wonder, what do I need to do to get Mr. Jax to let me leave? Mr. Jax. He is it. The one. The one who scratches at my door at night. The one who makes the house groan. The one who waits in the dark with patience that feels ancient and hungry. Not anymore. I can stand up to Mr. Jax. It's nearly 7 a.m. I can hear movement outside my door. Footsteps. Too many footsteps for one person. I've been up all night. Found more writing hidden in this room. Under the carpet. Behind the dresser. Lisa and Tommy were trying to warn me. Daniel isn't Daniel. Hasn't been for years. Something else wears him now. Something old. Something patient. Something that's been collecting our family one by one. My son Tommy left behind a drawing of Mr. Jax. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. The door is opening now. Time to find out what Mr. Jax really looks like. Wow, guys. That one still gives me chills. If you made it to the end, let me know you survived. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the terror. And subscribe if you haven't already. We're creeping closer to that 1K goal. And your support means everything. Hit the bell so you never miss a nightmare-fueled upload. Stay spooky, stay safe. And remember, you might want to sleep with the lights on tonight. Until next time, peace out, if you can.